Reloading!
Besides being a hot rockin' action picture with soulful performances and really cool visual tech, Elysium is kind of a moral story, isn't it, right? What's your take on that?
Yeah, you know, I think like District 9, Neil really loves to inject these themes that have some resonance or some relevance to the world that we're living in now. You know, this can take place in the future, but you know, it's a story about the haves and the have-nots, and that's something that's kind of, I think, in the zeitgeist right now, and kind of gives the movie its soul. Right? I mean, I think he wants to entertain, and he wants everyone to kind of be able to come into the theater and unplug and see just a big kind of, you know, sci-fi action movie. But I think he doesn't want it to be empty spectacle. You know, he wants the movie to stay with people.
Sure. And in the universe of Elysium, the haves literally live a world above the have-nots. And
yes.
What the haves have more of is cool technology, right? You know,
yes.
biomedical.
Yeah, exactly. They've got much better technology.
So do you see that happening in our real world? Is this an allegory for things like universal health care?
A little bit, but he doesn't want to whack anybody over the head with those themes. You know, Elysium is essentially like the ultimate gated community. You know.
Gotcha.
You know, it's taken to the extreme where they've actually just left the planet and are now just hovering over.
Well, speaking of leaving the planet, starting next year, our friends at Virgin Galactic and Xcore and some other companies are going to take rich people off the planet. They'll do some other things too, but how do you feel about that, having lived in the script world of Elysium for a while?
No, I'm always for pushing the envelope, and I think, you know, the future. This is the most exciting time in history to be alive because of what's happening. And I think the future is going to look so different from the past that it's almost unimaginable to us right now what the world's going to look like, you know, in our lifetime. And what's going to happen in our children's lifetime is like totally unknowable and amazing. And so I don't mind if people are paying their money to blast off into space and do a lap of the planet. That's, I guess, their business.
Sure. Let's talk about the craft of acting. So Michael Keaton once famously said about playing the Batman, you got to work the suit. In
I didn't know he said
Elysium,
that. That's funny.
Yeah, you get bolted on an exoskeleton, kind of a chop shop exoskeleton.
Yeah.
How was working the suit? Or did you have to fight it to become part of the character?
No, it was incredibly comfortable, and I think, in fact, Michael Keaton famously, I think that Batman suit was incredibly uncomfortable. I was very lucky. You know, it was the guys from the Weta Workshop down in New Zealand did it. You know, the same guys who did Lord of the Rings, and they, by the time it got to me, it had been through so many stages of R&D that it was like, I had full mobility. It was like only 25 pounds. It was pretty easy to work in.
Last question, it's kind of a quick one. So characters, Will Hunting, Jason Bourne, you kind of have this patent on guys who all of a sudden pop a level of genius that you weren't expecting, right? Did that happen after you were cast, or was that baked into the graphic novel that Neil presented you with at that meeting?
No, this whole story was laid out completely, you know, from, you know, by the time it came to me. And Neil had literally, the imagery in this movie all exists in that graphic novel, which was why I was desperate to do the movie. I mean, all the tourists, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, some of the details got filled in. Sid Mead came in, like there were some, you know, but yeah, seriously heavy hitters. But the guts of the story and some of the really striking, kind of arresting visual imagery was there in this homemade graphic novel.
Great. Matt, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.